Hey, this is Donnie Smith, and in this video I'm going to answer some of the questions that I get on YouTube. This is on my DIY channel, and this specific video is where I'm applying some body filler, some tips for applying body filler. And the question is, it says, good video, can I cover spoiler holes with body filler? And that's a good question, but it's a loaded question, and let me explain why. In the past, years ago, there was lots of holes filled with body filler. You would use those dent pullers that had the screws on the end, and you would drill a hole and then pop that out. And back then, is what I was told, is that actually allows the body filler to go through the hole and then grab onto it. Better adhesion because it would hang on to the metal better. But that also was not good for corrosion protection. And that's kind of where you have the problem at, is poor corrosion protection with the holes in the metal. But anyway, I have seen body filler over holes that lasted for years. This year we've got into some that we got into this one. A student bought is an older pickup and didn't look that bad, had the body line built into it and everything, but it was all body filler. I'm not kidding you, it's probably 1.5 inches thick, and no telling how long it's been there. Now, it's not recommended that it be that thick, and it's really not recommended that it be put in holes. But your question is if you can. Well, you can, and it has been done, but it's really, it's not recommended. I just don't have the corrosion protection. I can understand maybe not wanting to weld the hose, especially if you're not a welder or if you're afraid that you might warp it, because I've seen more damage done, welding something. If you don't know how to weld those thin metals, you got to be careful. All that warping that you do, it's just a mess. So what I would probably try, rather than body filler, because body filler does not, absorb some moisture. But if you go and get that fiberglass filler, that works really well, and that does do a lot better job of sealing off the hole, where moisture can't get in. And this is, I'm not talking about fiberglass resin and mat and all that. This is it comes in a can, and it's called fiberglass filler. You may, kitty hair or, something like that. And really, they've got a long strand and short strand for something, something small. I would use the short strand because it seems like it's a little bit easier to work. Still, that's probably not the correct answer. The best thing that you could do is weld the hole up. But I really think that fiberglass would work. But let me tell you what you do want to do if you're going to fill that. You just have a flat hole like this right here. Hopefully you can see this. If you have a hole on like your deck lid or something, you're filling that up, and then you put some body filler or fiberglass over that, and then you sand it off, well, you really don't have nothing to hold on to right here. It's probably going to fall out. So what you may want to do before you apply that is get a hammer and a punch that kind of feeds down in the hole, kind of like this. Where it'll kind of go through the hole. And not much, but lightly hit it, where what you're going to create is a divot. Now whenever you sand that off, you're going to have that for it to hold on to. I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of hard with this little notepad here, but basically you're taking that hole and you just knock it down a little bit, and that gives the fiberglass something to hold on to rather than just that flat surface. So to answer your question, yes, it can be applied over holes. Those aren't too big. Spoiler holes probably are pretty small, and it has been in the past, and it's held for years on some things. But I would prefer to do fiberglass if anything. So probably what your choices are going to be: one, weld it, and I still like to put fiberglass filler over welds, just in case there's a tiny pinhole or something like that. If you're TIGging, and you probably don't need to do that. But first is weld in fiberglass, and then you can apply body filler over that. The second one would be fiberglass to seal it off, and then apply some body fillers to help smooth it out on top of that. And the third, is just do the entire project with Bondo. So I hope that helps answer your question. I know it wasn't, that may not be the answer you're looking for. And it's just like a lot of this stuff in this business. I mean, everybody has their own ways of doing things, and I may say this is right, and someone else will say that is wrong, and but so I'm not going to give a real direct answer on that. It has been done, it has held, and now you have my opinion of what I would do. So if anybody else out there, if you have other ideas, opinions to help this guy out with this question, feel free to leave a comment. What would you do with a small hole, that a screw went through, like on where a spoiler bolted on? You got my opinions, my feedback. Let's hear yours.